Alright, I thought I would try my hand at a YouTube review video. I am going to review the Bubble Magus standard edition of the Curve 5. It's not the elite version. It does not have the C-shape pump. It's got a pump called a rock something. Can't remember the like code that comes at the end of it, but pretty quiet pump. It is probably the loudest thing in my tank, and with the doors shut, you can still hear it a little bit. I've got a 100-gallon total reef system with the live rock and sand in here. Maybe, you know, equipment, it might top out at 75, 80 gallons. But the skimmer does very well. I clean it probably once a week, sometimes twice a week if I'm skimming, you know, more wet than dry. And it's got a knob on the side of it that you just adjust here to increase or decrease the amount of bubbles. Weirdly enough, the more you push toward minimum, the higher the bubble column is. You would think it would be the other way. The max would max out the amount of bubbles that were coming up the column of it, but it doesn't. You'll push it toward minimum to increase the amount of bubbles going up. I've got this airline that runs kind of back behind my cabinetry and outside to a CO2 scrubber. It's done very, very well for my pH. The top of this just pops off real easily. You can see it pushing bubbles just fine. And this is actually very easy to get off of the neck. The neck of this just has a little rubber seal, and I'll just flip it off and just wiggle it free with a couple of wiggles. Some of them have like a locking mechanism that I've seen online, and I certainly didn't want one like that. But for the money of this thing, it's about $200. I think I spent $205 on Amazon or something. But it has done absolute wonders for me. It's been very quiet, very reliable. Haven't had the pump jam. Haven't had any strange behavior out of it. It did take a decent amount of time to break in. I would say it took probably a week until it became regular. And you'll see that in reviews. It takes a while. Could be that it's a cheaper pump. Could just be a slight design quirk. I'm not really sure on that. But another thing, I do not believe that their manufacturer estimate for the water height is correct. I think that they said between 7 and 9 inches was their recommendation, which would bring the water up somewhere in this neighborhood. Your water line, I've got this on a 4-inch high media block, and as you can see, you know, I mean, it's maybe 6 inches, maybe, that I've got this submerged, and it's working, you know, absolutely flawlessly at that. Yeah, I would go for about 6 inches and then adjust as needed from there. So no, it's been absolutely phenomenal. And if you're looking to have a good workable protein skimmer that's really easy to clean, really easy to pop apart, really simple to move around for, you know, I'd say between at least 80 to 100 gallons of total system volume, Bubble Magus Curve 5 standard edition for about $200. Very difficult to beat. So yeah, I thought I would just give my thoughts. Not a whole lot of videos on it out there. Thanks for listening.